So one of my things about Naruto that I absolutely love, and this is the original series, so just Naruto. In the original series, it really was about all the different clans
Yeah, I
and
agree.
developing all of these different characters. Like there was a whole point where Garo was being developed, and
Hmm.
you would get a lot of backstory on him and his trauma and how he was a murderer and the trauma with his dad and his mom, stuff like that. Like you would get a lot from every individual character. There was a lot going on with everybody, and Kishimoto would develop these characters a lot. And then obviously in Shippuden, it's just a Naruto Sasuke story only. It's
That's it.
really just those two characters. Now, granted, those are the two coolest characters theoretically, but like people still wonder what's going on with Neji, what's going on with Hinata, outside of using her for a prop to make Naruto beat pain. Like, what's going
Part
on with the
of
other characters?
part of what made a lot, I think a lot of people get into Naruto was it had a large cast. That's part of what a lot of these shown like Bleach, Naruto, One Piece, Dragon Ball Z. A
Yeah,
lot of these shonens, they have large My Hero Academia. They have a large cast, and different people gravitate to different characters and like different
yep,
characters. And then when those characters get development, it's really fun. And early Naruto, that happened. The Rock Lee Gaara fight is one of the best fights in Naruto. It's such a sick fight. But another thing about it that's important is Rock Lee gets really good development
yes,
during that instance. And
yes,
you learn a lot about Rock Lee and the fact that he can't use ninjutsu and the whole build up for Rock Lee. And then when you see him, he's, worthless in quotes.
yeah,
And he's sitting out there training longer and harder than everybody else. He kicks a tree 10,000 times. And if he can't kick it 10,000 times, then he has to kick it 10,000 more times because he fucked up.
yep,
Like he has to do 100 push-ups, but if you can only do 95, he has to do 100 more. Like the fact that you saw all that pushing and development to Rock Lee is part of what made people really love that character. And then when you get to Shippuden, Rock Lee does nothing, along with every other character.
yeah. They're just kind of left out there to be props for like Neji was just killed off. I feel like in Shippuden for no reason really. He just kind of died
I think
and
he just died because they wanted to
kill someone that people
they wanted
liked.
to kill someone. Yeah, they
Yeah,
wanted to be like, we got to
obviously
kill
people
someone.
need
It's a
to
war.
die. Yeah, it's exactly. People need to die. It's a war, and they just chose a name out of a hat. Like there was no real development to that death, and after it just kind of like you didn't really even feel anything because you couldn't. Everything that happened after that was so intense that it was like, okay, Neji died like 40 chapters ago, but right now we're on Ten Tails Jubito, and we're
Yeah,
on Ten Tails Madara. We can't even slow down for a second to realize that Neji has actually died. So
yeah. His death wasn't. It's not the way you get rid of a character. Like when you have a beloved character, I don't know. They deserve a certain kind of death. They deserve a
they
certain
do.
kind of exit.
Like a Jiraiya level death. Jiraiya's death hurt like hell. And I don't like
Yeah,
Jiraiya, but I acknowledge that when I read that chapter, the whole pain fight, first of all, some of the coolest manga I've ever read is Jiraiya versus Pain and the mystery of the Renegon, not knowing what it
yeah.
was at the time,
Oh,
not knowing how the guy was seeing him from every angle. Jiraiya transforming into Sage Mode, you've never seen that before. Sage Mode being absolutely fucking nuts. Okay, when he did that Odama Rasengan, that gigantic ass Rasengan, and then Pain absorbed it, I was like, holy shit! Like, what is this level of fight? Like, they were going crazy. It was
yeah.
so cool. The summons, the way Jiraiya he literally did the what's the Rock Lee technique where he does the spinning kicks? He does like the Konoha
Leaf.
Tempu. I only know it in Japanese,
Yeah,
but
I
he
don't know.
always
I
says
think it
Konoha
called
Whirlwind.
Leaf Whirlwind or something. Leaf
Yeah,
Hurricane, something
yeah.
like that.
Konoha or Leaf Whirlwind. That Jiraiya does that at one point to like the dog summon and fucks it up real nice. There was so many cool moments in that Jiraiya Pain fight. And then obviously we've been around Jiraiya for a very long time. So when Jiraiya dies, it's mind blowing. And it the way he died was sad. You know, his lungs
He
being
dies like
crushed.
alone.
He dies alone. No one's there. Tsunade also warned him not to go. So there's that, like, and you know the love story between Tsunade and Jiraiya that never really came to fruition, but you know that she loved him.
See, this is why
And
old head bitch me fucking loves Jiraiya. Everything
yeah,
he's
his
saying right
story is
now.
really sad, man. His story is so sad because like he was a Hokage candidate and everything. Like
Yeah.
you know what? I don't hate Jiraiya. I just realized that in this moment right now, I
You
realize
hate his fans.
I hate his fans. I do
You hate
not
his fans
hate
that think he's like
Jiraiya.
the strongest ninja
That's
ever.
what the problem is. I hate the
Yeah.
people who think that Jiraiya is like the strongest ninja, or they think that he can. I don't know where people think that he can actually beat Orochimaru, but there is nothing. There is nothing about any of Naruto that makes me think that Jiraiya could beat Orochimaru. Orochimaru is still alive right now.
Yeah.
Like,
You know what I think happened though? I can't even blame them all the way. I think Kishimoto didn't all the way know what he was doing in early Naruto.
that's true.
And he tried to make it seem like Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Orochimaru were even. And like
Yeah,
that
kind
didn't
of.
happen.
Even though it was very clear that Orochimaru was he was the most powerful of the three Sannin.
I do agree with that as well, because it's even shown like Jiraiya and Tsunade fight against Orochimaru when they have the big fight and they all have to summon.
And they're all nerfed at that time. Jiraiya's drunk or some shit, poisoned. Orochimaru doesn't have his arms. So they're all nerfed, but even still,
it's 2 versus 1.
And just the things that you see from Jiraiya, I don't think that they're enough to deal with Orochimaru's arsenal. Orochimaru has Ito Tensei, which is bonkers, and it took a Kage to like deal with that. And not only that, but Orochimaru also fought against Four Tails Naruto, and Jiraiya almost died against Four Tails Naruto. Like he said, the only 2 times I've been this close to death was when I was peeking on the ladies, and you gave me the punishment I deserved. And the second time was when Naruto transformed into the Four Tails, and I almost died. I have this permanent scar from it. So Orochimaru fighting against the Four Tails in Shippuden and pretty much just toying with it. Literally just testing his power, testing Naruto. He wanted to see how far Naruto had come. I believe he even said something like, "You're still not on Sasuke's level." Something really, just to fucking rile Naruto up. And at the time, Naruto wasn't on Sasuke's level at that time because Sasuke had been just doping, I guess, and absolutely nuts with Orochimaru's training. Naruto still hadn't learned the manipulation of elements and anything like that. So Orochimaru going toe-to-toe with his Four Tails and not even coming really close to death. He did the typical Orochimaru thing. He fought it. He realized, okay, the body that I'm currently using, it sucks. It's on its way out. I'm gonna leave, and you guys can deal with this Four Tails all riled up now. And he left.
Yep.
But he at no point was he like, I'm about to die from this thing. I'm close to death. Like, no.
Yeah, I agree. The problem is Jiraiya has some whack fans that think Jiraiya is the strongest ninja, but Jiraiya, the character, is fucking sick.
Yeah, Jiraiya, I realized in this podcast, in this moment, I don't actually hate Jiraiya. He has some really great feats. He trained Naruto, who became a Kage. He trained the fourth Hokage, So he did a lot of cool things. But his fans are toxic. His fans are fucking toxic.
I love that picture. I get hyped for the Team 7 pictures, like
where it shows them and then a signing on top of them.
Yeah. That shit's dope. Where
I like
Naruto,
those.
Sasuke, Sakura, and then it's like Tsunade,
Jiraiya. When we were younger, those wallpapers, because I'm sure you made it your wallpaper at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Those wallpapers were cool as fuck. Like the wallpapers of the Sani with the Team 7 members and just how they were slowly becoming them was super iconic. And we all had those as a wallpaper at some point. Pretty much everyone picked who they really, really liked. And I always liked Orochimaru a lot, even though he was a villain. I was afraid of him. I thought he looked like Michael Jackson. And I said to myself when he first encountered Sasuke in the Forest of Death, and Sasuke had to stab himself because of the fear of dying was that strong. Like Orochimaru's murderous intent was that strong that it made Sasuke have to override it with pain. I just have a crazy fear as a kid of the idea of running into someone like him, someone who is borderline immortal, who takes the body of a woman. Because when he fought against the third Hokage, he has the face of an actual woman, and then he takes off part of it, and it's him.
Mm-hmm.
It's very scary. And then his voice changes and shit like that. He has that weird ass laugh that he does when it's the woman's laugh, but then it changes into the man's laugh. That he Orochimaru's freaky, very freaky.
Did you ever find out who the third coffin was?
It was the fourth Hokage.
It was the fourth Hokage.
It's the fourth Hokage. Yeah. Let's talk about this too. One of the things about Naruto, the whole series, that kind of bothers a lot of people, and it bothers me too, is how much retconning went on.
There's a lot of retconning.
There was a lot of retconning. And one of the things that I feel like I retcon is the way Sarutobi reacted to that next coffin. That's why you brought it up, right?
Yes, because we've talked about this before. But yet he reacted to that as if the fourth Hokage came, that's the strong. Like he made it seem like
if the fourth Hokage came out, he made it seem like the fourth Hokage could solo him by himself, which is probably true regardless. But he basically made it sound like the first, who is actually the strongest Kage, and is not even fucking close. And you can debate your grandma. It is not close. The first Hokage is the strongest Kage, and it is not even remotely close. This doesn't count Naruto becoming Kage, because obviously Naruto is the most powerful Kage of all time. But outside of Naruto, the first it's not even close. Like
The second is ridiculous too.
The
Like,
second is ridiculous.
The fourth's not stronger than the second, in my opinion, either.
Debatable. The only reason I say debatable is because all the techniques that the second developed, the fourth improved upon, basically, or at least the main one, and he mastered them. And what's scary about that is the fourth Hokage got to watch the second Hokage stuff. He got to learn all of his stuff, but not the other way around.
That's true.
So like it's just kind of an unfair thing. You came after me, you got to study me, but I didn't get to study you. So it's, you got to develop a technique based on my technique. You got to increase it and make it better. And I didn't get the chance to do that because I died early. Like, second Hokage died young. But I don't think here's why I don't think the second is stronger than the fourth. And this could be a debate episode that we have, because the second is broken. Do not get me wrong. He's very broken. But the reason why I don't think he's stronger than the fourth is because the fourth would not die to a bunch of Jonin jumping him. There's no fucking universe where that would happen. There's just none. Like, the fourth Hokage literally told
Julius Caesar the fourth.
He told his men to throw these kunais, and the war ended. Like the Second Great Ninja War ended because of his fucking kunai nonsense. Like he ended the war basically. He's just nuts. Like he
is pretty nutty.
Whereas the second Hokage literally was about to be jumped by some Jonins, Kenkaku and Genkaku. He's about to be jumped by some Jonins, and he told at the time Sarutobi and Danzo, essentially one of you has to be the next Kage. But he tricked them and said, one of us has to stay back. And the first person to raise their hand was Sarutobi. And he said, actually, you're going to be the Hokage now. And Danzo hesitated. And that hesitation cost Danzo the leadership, which made sense.
That's such a good moment.
Yes. And then Tobirama says, I'm going to stay back and fend them off. You guys go. And then he dies fending off the Kaku force or the Genkaku force, or whatever the fuck they're called. They have the chakra of the Nine Tails. Those fucking weak ass ninjas that end up getting done in by Darui later on, like zero difficulty almost. I don't see the fourth Hokage losing to them at all, especially getting jumped by a bunch of ninjas after he fought the actual Nine Tails.
I blame Kishimoto.
I know it's bad.
I blame Kishimoto.
Because like by all rights, I feel like the older Kages should scale higher than the fourth. Like I feel like the first and second, because they're brothers and they're from the Senju clan,
and they were in like that. They were in the war. Like they were in the war.
First of all, they grew up just fighting the Uchiha constantly. Imagine fighting the other clan that is the strongest in the world over and over and over again, and there's just death on both sides. That's your life,
and you make it. Not only is it death on both sides, you make it to the top. You live.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, you live
through
all that death.
And you kill one of them, and you cause Madara to get his fucking Mangekyo.
Yep.
Like Tobirama is
Tobirama is Naruto's Frieza. Fucking.
Yeah. Oh yes.
He is Tobirama big racist.
Huge racist. Huge racist. I love those memes where it's like everyone knew these characters were racist without having to say it, and it was just like Frieza, Tobirama, and a couple other anime characters who just absolutely hate an entire species.
Big fucking racist.
Yeah, he's one of the biggest. He absolutely despised the Uchiha, and I get it. You grew up. Hey guys, if you like this clip, we have full video versions of our podcast episodes available on the IMNerd Patreon, as well as exclusive content.
If you'd like to listen to our full podcast episodes or find us on any other social media platforms, you can do so by clicking the link tree below.